We are going to blast off into space.
I've got a new way to message privately.
Before I show you how to take care of your plants.
It's time for iOS Today! iOS Today comes to you from TWiT's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless, whether employees are working in the office or remotely. Visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust. This is TWiT.
This episode of iOS Today is brought to you by MySudo. Life is better without spam. Ads based on activity, hacked info, or the risk of identity theft. Take back control of your privacy with MySudo. Download the MySudo app today from the App Store or Google Play. Go to mysudo.com/twit to learn more.
And it's synced. And it's on
synced up
time.
because we're in the same studio. Hey, everybody. Way over here. Hi.
Hi, Leo.
Yeah, hi. I'm Leo Laporte. That's Mikah Sargent down there. It's a little weird today because Mikah's internet died. He normally does a show during quarantine. He's been doing a show from the house. But we brought him into the studio. We're in separate studios, though, so it's a little bit odd.
Separate spaces.
But it works.
Similar places.
Yeah, it works.
Happy times.
Yeah. So it was good to see you.
It's good to see
Virtually,
you.
in person almost.
Yeah. It's different, and I like it.
Yeah, I do too. Our subject today.
It's all about leaving this planet.
Yes, good thinking.
In the words of Professor Farnsworth, I don't want to live on this planet anymore.
Oh, getting out and looking at the world and the sky above us. I think that's a great idea. Although, I don't know if you noticed as you drove in, the sky above us right now is kind of icky.
It's orange. It's, in fact, my partner this morning said, is it the apocalypse?
It kind of looks like the apocalypse.
Looking a little apocalyptic.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you do have a clear sky at some point in your life again, ever, we've got some apps that'll help you see the stars and some apps to learn more about space. And,
nice.
I want to hear because your first one, Night Sky, is one that I always recommend for people to not only check out the space, but also for AR, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if how well I'll be able to do the AR today.
That part is tough.
Because I would have to hold up my iPad in some weird way. But this is what I think was probably the original. You see, they're in version 7 now. The original kind of astronomy thing because it's because of the AR. Now, note it says iOS 13 and Watch 6. We are super close, and we'll have this in the news, to iOS 14 and Watch 7. But I think that they'll probably, we'll go through the tutorial because that way you can see. I'm going to turn on location, obviously, allow while using the app. And you'll see why you want to have that. Access to the camera is important too. And the calendar. Why would it need all that? Well, you'll see. We have stargazing music, persistent interface, use the night sky. Okay. I think I'm ready. So let's do the tutorial. How do I do the tutorial?
I think you just have to swipe back to the left.
Oh, it's way at the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Why did it jump to that? Okay. So it gives you a sky view based on, now notice this is on the phone, and I think you could do this with the iPad. I don't know if you want to carry the iPad around. You would get a bigger view, but this phone does it too. The issue with the iPad is unless you have an LTE iPad, you don't have GPS. So the location information won't be quite as good as it would be on the iPhone. I just think this is such a great tool. There's the AR where you can actually go and look at Saturn or a planet, see the solar system. It supports Siri, so you could say, show me where Polaris is. That's an issue that comes up for me all the time. What am I looking at?
Right.
So show me Venus, for instance. I love it. It's kind of nutty, but I love it that they have an Apple Watch app now. So it uses the compass, and so you can actually use your Apple Watch to see what am I looking? Is that Ursa Major up there? And then if you pay for it, there are in-app purchases. You can get what they call Aurora Mapping So you could see where the Aurora Borealis is most visible. We're so far south, this is only useful for people in Svalbard.
I wish I lived there.
I do too. And when we go to Svalbard, I'm darn well paying for that.
You better believe it.
Yeah. You get the mythology because, of course, constellations are all about mythology. The AR planetary portals are very cool. You can actually step onto the surface of Mars, for instance, and see what the sky looks like from there. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And then there's they built this in. If you get the premium, you get a little mindfulness, the calming music, the breathing. I think the stars, do you find the stars are soothing?
As long as I don't think too hard about them.
Right. Right. If you think about what a little speck of dust we are in the universe, then maybe this little, I think it's soothing.
I start breathing a little heavily.
I think it's
soothing.
Think
about that, but
yeah,
there's a little bit of both because you kind of get to give up a little bit of responsibility in that way. It's like, you know what?
So notice it did the location. It figured out on North McDowell Boulevard. And that's why you want that GPS. You want to be as accurate as you can. And then as you look around with the accelerometer, I'm just using my finger to do this, but as you look around with the accelerometer, you could actually point it at the night sky and see what's up there.
And you can see what's below the horizon line, what's above.
Well, this is helpful to get that horizon line too, because that'll help you orient.
And look,
I know where that is. So now I'm seeing what's there, and I think that's really cool.
The trajectory of the moon.
Yeah, look at that.
That red stripe.
Oh, this is what's behind us right now. See, we can't see Saturn because it's on the other side.
And look at all those satellites.
Yeah. Oh, that's another reason I like this. I have another app for that, but it's really cool that you can place what's going on above you as not just stars, but man-made objects as well. There's a satellite right there. That's Starlink. You're going to see a lot more of these. Starlink 1345. That's one of Elon Musk's satellite, which is right on the horizon right now. In fact, there's another Starlink. There's quite a few Starlinks. There's another Starlink. There's another Starlink. That right now is the most visible satellite. It also shows the path of the satellite as you're watching. And you can see how fast these satellites move relative to the stars. You can actually see it moving across the sky. They only spend maybe 45 minutes in the visible sky as the Earth rotates. They're not moving. We are. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful?
Also is kind of creepy. That weirds me out a little bit.
That we're
too.
spinning at a very, very, very rapid rate.
Yeah.
And that if it weren't for gravity, we'd just fly off into space. That part scares you a little bit?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you, actually.
The whole idea that we don't really feel that we're moving so quickly is also kind of strange.
Yeah. And then you can also blend the night sky map with the real sky. So if you're using your camera, you can swipe up and see more of the actual sky. And that's, I think, the single best feature of all of this is that notion that you can be looking up at the sky with your, and I think iPad's fine as long as you want GPS, so you need to have an LTE iPad or do it with your phone. And to be able to look up there, see the actual sky, and then superimposed upon it, oh, that's Ursa Major. Oh, that's the Big Dipper. That's the Little Dipper. If you've got kids, you get asked that question all the time.
Which one is that one?
Yeah. In fact, my daughter to this day, she's 28, remembers when she was 4 years old and I woke her up to say, look, you can see the moon and Venus together right now. And she still brings that up. So these are really important things to share with your kids. I think every iPad and iPhone owner should have night sky. Free to do what I just did, $3.99 a month for some of the premium features, and probably worth it. But at least start with the free version.
Yeah. So one of the ones I want to talk about here is Sky Guide. This is the other option. When we're talking about night sky, Sky Guide is kind of the other option. It is a pay up front app, and you get some of the same features. So let me show you here. Close out of that. And we can start, by looking around the sky and seeing some of the different constellations that are available. There's Orion. Oh, there's Betelgeuse. You can learn more about individual stars, and you see they've pulled in a lot of information. It talks about when Betelgeuse rises, when it peaks, sets, and the magnitude. And then you start to learn about this actual star out in the sky. and including history, like long-wave infrared measures give a vastly larger radius of up to 5 AU and greater, as big as the orbit of Jupiter. And, you can scroll through to learn more about it, maybe, if it'll let me. There we go. To tell you more about the observation of the planet, the star, and then also the characteristics. You can make sure that you're zoomed right in on it and check that out. As I zoom in, I get more details of these different stars that are out there, ones that we've named and ones that we haven't named. Of course, we know a lot about Betelgeuse.
We know enough to not say its
name. I
name
was going to say I can't say it 3 times. Yeah, and you can actually see some of the animations play out for as the sky moves along. So right now it's kind of live; it's playing out how they would move. But what I like about this one is just there's a little bit of finicky nature to the to night sky in terms of the AR, and it's really kind of relying heavily on those sensors, and that's super fun when you're outside and you're doing it. But if you're looking for one to just kind of discover the stuff that's out there, I find Sky Guide to be helpful for that. There's Sagittarius, of which you and I are, members. Jupiter, Saturn.
Oh, you're a Sag? Lisa and I were just talking about when your birthday is. When's your birthday? It must be
December 19th.
Oh, you poor Christmas baby.
6 days from Christmas.
Aww.
And then it also has some information about, it gives you information about kind of what you need to know coming up. So see the comet of the decade, for example, and it gives you information about how you should go out and do that. But they also have these folks that are content creators, like Mike Lynch, who has been taking photos all of September, and you get to see these beautiful photos and learn about kind of what the different planets are doing and different things that are in the sky. So it takes things a step further in terms of how to kind of enjoy the sky, if you will, and what you should be paying attention to in September, making sure that you see all of the necessary meteor showers and things like that. And then it lets you pay attention to the calendar events. So on Friday, September 11th, Neptune is at opposition. If I tap on that, I can learn about what that means exactly. Opposition is a planetary configuration in which a planet and the sun appear at opposite directions in the sky. The alignment is only possible for planets that orbit the sun at a greater distance than Earth.
I think kids get very excited by this.
Yeah, these are all kinds of things. And then look, best evening to see Mercury is coming up on October 1st. So you would know right whenever you need to go do that. So I really do like this. I think that it sticks to its name, being called Sky Guide. It is an app that is trying to help be the guide to you understanding kind of what's going on in space.
Very nice.
That is Sky Guide, and I kind of see that as a little bit of the opposite to Night Sky. Less sensors and actually going out there and doing it, and more like we are right now where the sky isn't so clear, the ability to see those things without being there.
You want to see how unclear the sky is? I took a picture when I arrived this morning of the sun. There is that red ball there. That's our sun.
Oh,
it's so obscured by smoke right now.
It's got a ring around it.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
The sun is blowing smoke rings.
It's just it's not a nice time right now to be breathing. So we're glad you're inside with us. If you're going to talk about space, you got to say NASA. And I think maybe 5 years ago, I might not have said NASA because we'd ended kind of our manned space launches, although there were some pretty good things going on with Curiosity and so forth. But the NASA app, is a must-have. You got to have the NASA app because there's a lot going on these days. We've added features to notify you of significant NASA events and newly available images. Oh, yeah. I'd like to see all of that. Turn that all on. NASA image of the day. Don't you love that? The astronomy picture of the day. Don't you love that? You can even get ISS notifications. That's the International Space Station. So when it's going overhead, this NASA app will say, hey, you saw I said it 10 minutes before, run outside and see if you can see it. Now, obviously, now would not be a good time.
Right.
But you can do that. NASA TV is here, and when there are launches, this is kind of cool. This is LBJ.
Wow.
Lyndon Johnson talking on the phone to somebody. I'm guessing it's Gus Grissom or or John Glenn.
Man, check out that chair.
Send you congratulations from all of your fellow countrymen and from all peace-loving people in the world.
The president spoke of the Russian launching of the original Sputnik more than 11 years
Peace-loving people.
I love that
like,
guy.
let me make it clear. We're talking about peace.
Not the commies.
Yeah.
No. We're in a space race to beat them. The images are great, as I mentioned. The NASA astronomy photo and
Crab
the NASA
nebulas
photo.
are so cool.
Isn't that beautiful?
I love them.
Nothing crappy about the crab nebula. And you can rate them and all of that stuff. And there's information. I don't know. Here's the Milky Way over Mont Saint-Michel, which is a beautiful castle in France. And if you tap it, you can get more information. Again, education is very important, I think. Look at this. Here's a really fun picture. Wow. There's this shuttle Enterprise. And, of course, if you look closely, there's Bones, Sulu, Mr. Spock, and... the Russian guy, the navigator. He's all there as they go back into space. I love that. I don't know where Kirk is, but it's really kind of fun.
That's awesome.
Oh, there's Uhuru, too. Yeah. So isn't that fun?
Oh, that's
So this is all available free because you paid for it. This is your NASA app. Great for watching NASA TV. It's always good to have a button on your iPad so that when there's a launch or something to watch, and there has been lately a lot of fun stuff. Here's Jeanette Epps, one of the first women to do a spacewalk. There she is in her suit, about to do the EVA. I think this is just... Actually, that's at the Johnson Space Center. So I thought that was in a spacecraft, but no, that's at the Johnson Space Center. So this is really, really a fun...
Oh, and some sort of, like you said, educational material.
Yeah, this is an example of a design that NASA's working on. It focuses. This is their all-electric X-57X plane. Wow, that's cool. So I think this is mostly a photo gallery, right? Mm-hmm. There's the SpaceX Crew 1. That's kind of cool. For folks, John knows because he's a NASA guy. These guys haven't gone up yet, right? This is going to be the next Dragon launch, the next Crew Dragon launch. I don't know. They haven't gone up yet. They're the future. Look at that picture of the moon. Wow. Isn't that stunning? That's just stunning. Does the moon ever block out Mars? Yes, occasionally it does. There's a Mars rise on the moon. So that is free. It's the NASA app. There's no in-app purchases. There's all sorts of stuff. NASA's tweets. You get the schedule of what's coming up, so you'll know.
I think that's the big thing, yeah.
The schedule?
Notification of the schedule.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a great way to make sure you're staying up to date on that.
There's Curiosity, roving on Mars. There's lots of video, all the news. NASA is, as you might imagine, very good at public relations. They have to be because they've got to keep their funding coming. Yeah. They've got to keep the public excited. So this NASA app has gotten better and better, and there's a lot more to look at nowadays. So we're really excited about it. Highly recommend it if you've got an iPad, especially because you're going to want to watch those launches and so forth.
Now, Leo, do you want to tell us a little bit about satellites before we take a break?
Yeah, there's a great little program here. You mentioned that the night sky will do satellite mapping, but this is a specific one. And you noticed that there was a lot of other stuff in night sky. Mm-hmm. So this is one specifically for satellites. Satellite Tracker, it's called. You can use your current location or you can do it manually. Again, because I have an iPad with GPS built in, I have the LTE iPad, it will do this. If you don't, you might want to do it manually. Actually, the location is going to be pretty good, even if you don't, based on Wi-Fi. Do you want notifications about satellites going overhead? Sure, let's know. And so now we're going to get notifications. This is unfortunately a subscription. Fortunately, it's cheap. It's $6 a year, 49 cents a month. I think that's probably not too much to pay for this if you're really into it. So I'm gonna pay for that right now. Double click when I can. The only negative, as you can see, is it's vertical. I just wish that.
Yeah, and I think it's my understanding that you can see satellites, but if you want to see them live, quite literally at the moment, that's what the pay for is.
Yeah. And that's really what you want, I think, with a satellite tracker. You want to know, well, what can I see?
Right.
So here's where we are right now, the green dot, and I want to know, is there anything I can see? Well, here comes a satellite, but of course, because the sky is so smoky, I'm not going to be able to see that. This is the International Space Station. So this is its current location. Even this is kind of cool, right?
I know, just
You're
looking
right?
at the world.
Yeah. So this is a lot of fun.
So you can actually you can tap on a satellite and then see more. Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. That's the
ISS.
This is the ISS. Yeah. So you can obviously choose other satellites. You can see the satellites that are live if you have the subscription. You can learn more about it. I think this is it's not as fancy, but it's cheap. It's a lot less expensive for the subscription. If what you really want to see is, well, what's overhead right now? This is a great little program to see the satellites, and I can see all the satellites. Look at all the Starlinks. You see all the Starlinks? Yeah. There's some special interest sections like the last satellites launched in the last 30 days. Debris from Iridium.
Wow.
Okay, so this is little space junk. Looking for the space junk out there that's floating around. That's kind of wild. This is I think the thing about astronomy, there's a lot of different ways you can go with it. It's fascinating to think about the stuff that's in the sky floating around, the man-made objects. So this is I think a particularly good app for that. By the way, there's weather in here, so these are all the weather satellites.
Cool.
Yeah, there's quite a few actually. Landsat. These are the broadcasts. There's Hubble. You want to see the Hubble?
Yeah, let's see the Hubble.
Yeah, let's see where the Hubble is. We can track that so that we'll now get a notification when the Hubble telescope.
Man, that's really cool.
No visible passes, unfortunately, because of where it is. It's very high.
I just think it's cool to see how they're all built, how they look, what materials they're made up of.
Yeah, pick any satellite. You can get an image of it and find out more about it. And
SkyMed. What does SkyMed do? Sounds like
I don't think you want to know. Some of these satellites, are not. You cannot look at them because they are spy satellites. They are not. They're military satellites. So I think SkyMed is one of those. Let's just see. Yeah, not allowed to look. Not allowed to see that one. It'll go over in 8 hours, but we're not going to give you a close up. So this is, I don't know what SkyMed is.
Oh, it says it's it's the Mediterranean basin.
Okay. Oh, look, the sun's coming
up.
up.
It's not medical, darn.
The red sun is coming up over the United States of America.
Darn it.
Anyway, this is, I think, a nice app. You don't need to pay anything for it. Satellite tracker, 50 cents a month if you want the live feature. I think that's a great little app.
Cool.
Let's take a little break, shall we?
I'm so excited about this new sponsor.
This one is one that was an app cap.
Yeah.
Oh, I am excited about this. This is the greatest sponsor ever. It's MySudo. You remember we showed you MySudo as an app cap because I've been using it for a while and I really love it. My use case was some time ago. Remember, we put in solar panels and we put in solar batteries. And I got a mailer, a postcard in the mail from a company that said, hey, let us do that. And so I said, all right. And I gave them my phone number. Big mistake.
Bad thing to do.
Calls, texts, and, things like, don't you want to talk to us? I mean, like guilty things.
Weird.
From now on, I'm using MySudo. MySudo lets you create numbers for texts, for messaging, for everything that are private, that are you, but are not going to be, you can safely give out to anybody who's going to be bugging you, right?
Yes.
I love MySudo. Everything you do online these days increases your, let's call it our digital exhaust, the put of data coming out your back of your phone. You're spreading personal information all around the digital world, your name, your phone number, your email address, credit card numbers, billing and shipping address, browsing activity. You're into privacy, so am I. So is Anatomy Labs, creators of MySudo. It protects your privacy for the daily activities that you want to do, like giving out an email and a phone number. With MySudo, you can quickly create different profiles. They're called pseudos. So I have one right now, but as time goes, initially what happens is you create one and use it for everything, and then you realize, I'm going to create another profile, each for different activities, right? So each has a working phone number, email. You've got a virtual card, so you can, business card. You've got there's a browser built in. So your browsing is completely private, and it's attached to that profile, to that pseudonym, right? You give your pseudo profile a purpose. You could say this one's for online shopping. This one's for following leads. This one's for selling or online services. Now, every time you talk, text, email, browse, you can even do credit cards with this or pay. You use that pseudo profile, and it's all stored there. So those phone calls don't come to you. They go into my pseudo. Those text messages, well, they do come to you, but they go in a space so you can ignore them or pay attention to them as you please. You can create a new pseudo profile with a custom phone number and email address. Name it. And when buyers or services ask for your contact info, you use your new, it's a fully working phone number and email address, and instead of risking exposure and being pestered to death. You know why this is timely? Because if you want to give to a political campaign, and by the way, I encourage you, even $5, show your support. The problem is you have to give them an email address and a phone number. And then, trust me, I've been pestered for now the whole year of the last campaign cycle. They're going to text you. They're going to call you. Use my pseudo for this. It's not that you won't get those texts and calls, but they just go into the My Pseudo app, which is awesome. And by the way, when the phone rings, and you can have the phone ring if you want, it'll say this is somebody calling the selling pseudo or the political contribution pseudo. No login or credentials, because My Pseudo doesn't want your information. They don't require any security-prone login or password. They do it the right way with a private key created on the phone as you set up your My Pseudo, and only you have access to that securely on your device. They do use an encrypted cloud so that you can move to another phone. All the metadata stored in the cloud is encrypted with your key. That means not even My Pseudo can read it. No one can read it, just you. So these are truly private end-to-end encrypted communications. So there may be other reasons you'd want to use this. If you want to have private messaging, reporters use My Pseudo so they can talk to sources and not be snooped upon. There's lots of ways you might use this. I love it. It was my app cap. I know you signed up, Mikah, for it after I showed it. It's the world's first all-in-one privacy solution. Now, there are 3 subscription plans. And by the way, you can use it for free too, but I subscribed. In fact, I ended up going for Pseudo Max. All the plans come with unlimited encrypted communications between My Pseudo users for messaging, voice, video, and email. So I could have a completely private conversation with Mikah, end-to-end encrypted, on messaging, on voice, on video, and email. Totally private. There's Pseudo Go, Pseudo Pro, and Pseudo Max. Increased privacy options at every tier. And of course, you can try it for free. My Pseudo takes protection of your data seriously. When you download the app, you never have to give them your real email address. You don't have to even use a password. No contact information. It just generates the key, and now it's locked, and it's locked to your app. Whether you've been hacked, tracked, if you've had identity theft, if you've been scammed, spammed, as I have been, or you just want to prevent that from happening in the future, My Pseudo will mitigate the common risks we all face today. Android as well as iOS. Go to My Pseudo, MySudo, mypseudo.com/twit to learn more. Take back control of your personal information. It's totally awesome. I'll just show you real quickly how easy it is to create I have my first pseudo here, and I don't even mind showing you the phone number and the email, right? But now let's create a new My Pseudo, and I'm going to call this one, let's say inquiries, because that was the thing that happened to me. So I'm going to confirm that, and I'm going to have it. The email address will be somebody already has inquiries. So let's say I could say Leo's inquiries. Leo's inquiries. Nobody will have that, right?
Hopefully not.
At pseudo.com. And once I've created that, now notice it's doing this completely securely. Okay? Take me to My Pseudo. Now, I can send a text. I can send a text to anybody, just add a phone number. I can make a phone call. I can do email because I have that new email, right? Leo's inquiries at My Pseudo or at pseudo.com. And then I also automatically have the creators of My Pseudo, Anatomy Labs, in there. And I think these guys are guys to watch. I think they're doing some really interesting stuff. They really care about your privacy. I can even create virtual credit cards which is fantastic. So those are tied to that particular pseudo, my second pseudo. That's how easy it was to create a new identity on the internet. I can even give it a phone number. You choose what country. Should I do, let's do 707, because that's where we are right now. And it'll give me a set of 707 numbers I can use. You may not want to use your area code, right?
Yeah, I used my back in St. Joe for my...
Right. You could use any area code you want. It's a 707-343-4319. If somebody calls that number, it goes into my pseudo. I love this. Me
too.
So there you go. This is a really great way to protect your privacy online. And a new sponsor on the show, we really love them. If you want to try it out, mysudo, mysudo.com/twit. Use that URL just as a little signal to them that you saw it here. That helps us out. But I think you're going to love this. Download the MySudo app today. Take control of your personal information with MySudo. You have more apps, I think, yes?
I do, yes.
Yeah.
The next one is available for $3.99 in the App Store, and it is for people who are big fans of rockets that are going into space.
Who doesn't love rockets?
And it is called Pocket Rocket.
Okay.
Let's switch to the Apple TV if we can.
Yes, we will show Pocket Rocket.
I want to show the intro here. So, as you see, it's designed by space enthusiasts, making sure you'll never miss
These are real
anything.
rockets.
Yes. So what it shows is that it's got augmented reality built in. It's got a timer so you can know whenever a launch is about to take off. It shows you the history of SpaceX, so you can see every launch that's taken place, and then notifications so that you know whenever they're coming. You can pay a subscription fee to get more, so they actually keep track of whether a launch is going to be scrubbed and kind of let you know ahead of time. But I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So yes, Pocket Rocket wants to send you notifications, as you might imagine. And now we are in the app, and it starts to load.
So these are rockets in your actual pockets.
This is the next launch, but you can see the history of the launch.
Oh, that's nice. So you know ahead of time when Starlink's going up.
Yeah. So there's Crew 1 that's supposed to go out on October 23rd, 2020. You can see the rocket itself up here. If you can see on the left there is the AR kit icon. That's if I wanted to make it an AR. I'm going to show that in a second, but I want to show down here it shows where it's going to launch from, the Kennedy Space Center. And then look at all this information. You've got the first stage, the second stage, information about each of those, little bits of information. I'm not sure exactly what these icons mean. I'm sure that there's a sort of, what is it called? A key that shows you what those different things mean. And then details and things like that. So let me tap on the rocket just so you can see that. How do I make it zoom in? There's a way to... there we go. So then I can start to look at every little section of this rocket and see how it works. So you can see that build there. And the bottom of the rocket. Oh, I was wondering, something was making noise. That's because my Apple Watch is currently.
I didn't hear it, so that's okay.
So let me turn on the AR for a second here.
Oh, can we do this in AR? This will be interesting.
I think if we
look at this.
Yeah.
Oh, neat.
All right, so we'll place it there.
Yeah.
And we'll move the iPad so that it knows, and then hit the plus sign. And then
wow, that's cool. So you got a rocket on your desk now.
I have
it's tall.
Rocket.
Holy cow! That gives you a sense of the scale of that thing. Wow,
and I can get in
really
close
cool.
and see the boosters. Oop! I can zoom in and zoom out so that I can sort of see more of it. And if I want to, I can zoom in a little bit on the top.
That's
there.
fun.
Yeah. Now, the big thing for this, obviously, is going to be the ability to know when rockets are taking off, future launches that are happening. So the next launch that's supposed to happen at the end of this month is the Starlink 12. The actual launch date, at specific time and everything is TBD, but we do have some information about that. And then up in the top right is notifications that I have currently turned on. So these are hand-authored by a real person, notifications that let you know when things are happening. Now, see, this is 99 cents a month. If you want to know when things are scrubbed, you can, this is kind of fun. The Falcon Heavy rocket in the app can be inscribed with your name if you become kind of a founding supporter with those more expensive purchases. But yeah, I think this is super cool to see the different rockets that are going to take off, the ones that have already taken off, and the Crew Dragon, which is part of this, which of course was aborted at first for the test. And oh my, look at that. I don't even know what this is, but it's cool. Oh, is this the Falcon Heavy?
Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's the Heavy. Look at that. 3 stages there, boy.
Wow.
Yikes.
So yeah, if you want to have rockets in your pockets, you should check out Pocket Rocket, available for $3.99.
I love that.
In the App Store.
It's all you, baby. You got them all.
Excellent.
Go ahead. Take it away.
The next one, Leo, I did this one for you.
Yes.
Because I know you like games.
Yes.
And this one is a turn-by-turn strategy game.
Oh.
It's called... Holy potatoes! We're in space? Or for short, HPWIS. So, as I said, a turn-by-turn strategy game. I've got my little characters down here that each have different types of fight that they can do, different attacks that they can do. And so each of my crew members are assigned to the perfect pea shooter, the perfect Apollo level 10. It's a missile that does splash. This is a laser that does single target. This is a wave that hits everything. And this is a rail gun, which pierces shields. So I'm currently facing off against Astral Premier Hal, and you can see I'm way outmatched here because on the right we've got 19,535 for Astral's hull, and for me I've only got 6,900. My ship is small in comparison, and Astral Hal's ship is very large. It's my turn, and I'm trying to time for the ace up our sleeves. We can use special pilot skills in battle. They don't cost us a turn but may consume charge. Click on the stasis lock skill below, so you can see that's on the bottom left there. Here goes nothing. Stasis lock. And we fire. And you can see we have a ship on lockdown. It's a long shot, but let's try to gun him down. All right, we stunned his ship. This is our chance to take him out, but be careful. He has some different weapons this time around. We can find more info on weapon types by pressing I or the info button on the top right. So then we can learn about how to fire weapons, but also to learn about the kind of weapons: shrapnel, missile, railgun, laser, wave, and unique weapons. So here we go. Destroy Hal's ship. You can do multiple attacks at once. So I'm going to try and select all of these. I will attack there. I've got that one that goes through the railgun, which goes to the shield. That's this person.
This is cool. This is kind of a turn-based, reminds me a little bit of a tank warfare game, but you have a lot more additional features.
And you see all those misses that I did? Darn it. And then two, one of the things that I like is that I can start to, as I sort of gain skills over time, I build up resources that I can equip my ship to make it better, because you can see my ship is kind of puny in comparison to this one.
Yeah, man. You're going to get with it, man.
But I'm trying. I swear. I do declare that I swear. All right, we'll fire again. And I'm almost out of charge here. So we hope.
Oh, ooh, nice.
One more. We've got one more to attack here. Oh, and the hull, of course. So we'll definitely hit the hull with the armor-piercing rounds. Fire again, and let's
just don't send Red Leader in, because he every time, he biffs it.
He does.
Yeah.
Why won't you listen? Why won't you understand? If you aren't with me, then you shall simply cease to be. Annihilate them.
This is fun. This is a kiddie kind of a presentation, but a fun strategy, turn-based strategy game. I like it. Can you play against other people?
That's a good question. So this was just kind of the tutorial getting started. And look, Leo, our favorite feature.
Spuds.
No, skip. We can skip the stupid.
I always hate this stuff, yeah.
So what is
Name your shift the Spudnik Sweetheart.
I'm going to call it the Red Petalumen Sun.
Ooh, that's it. How about the red pet? That's terrible. Okay,
I'm skipping that
I like
too.
that one. Yeah.
And so see, it's not just outward strategy, turn-by-turn stuff. You are in your ship.
It's
and
a
you
little
start
sim.
Yeah, exactly. It's a little sim.
Yeah.
So you can
I
start to
like
make
this a
adjustments
lot.
and add things
This
to your
looks like
ship.
fun.
The upgrade shop where you can get more stuff. Et cetera, et cetera. So I had to mention some sort of game. I will say this one's a little expensive. I think it's because it comes from a bigger game developer, and it's incredibly feature packed. As I was starting to read about it,
But there's no in-app purchases, or
no,
are there?
it's a you
See,
pay.
I prefer paying $7 up front and not having in-app purchases. I'll go with that every time.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it too. So that is again, holy potatoes! We're in space. And then last but not least, I've got one last app for everyone to check out, and it is called.
By the way, there's a Holy Potatoes, a spy story. Holy Potatoes, a weapon shop. Apparently, there's a Holy Potatoes franchise. You could even get the Holy Potatoes bundle.
Oh wow, I bet that's expensive.
Yeah. Well, $13.99 for all three.
Oh, that's not bad then, because you'd be paying much more if you wanted to do.
You'd pay much more.
Much more. Wow.
This looks fun. I want to play this. This really looks fun.
I thought of you with that one for sure.
Yeah.
Especially after that Looney Tunes game that you showed us. All right, up next and last app here is Solar Walk Planets Explorer. So Solar Walk, and this is a specific one called Planets Explorer, is what you think it is. If instead of instead of wanting to learn about satellites or the stars, your interest is in the actual planets themselves, then you should check this one out. So you can actually walk on the Mars surface. You get a very detailed version of that. Wait, where do I go to do
This
that?
is $5.
Ah, there we go. So right now I'm on the Earth.
Yes, as you should be. There's the glowing red sun, not to scale.
I think that this is made by the same folks that make Satellite Tracker. Based on the UI. See on here on the left and on the right, we've got the current time. So this is showing what the Earth looks like, where the sun is. But we can zoom out and let's go to Mars. How about that? So we'll tap on Mars. And as we zoom in, you see Mars's moons, Phobos, and Deimos. We can zoom in on the planet and see a very detailed surface. And then also, by tapping on the eye, learn so much information about it. There's general information. There are all of the figures that you might want to know. I remember when I was a kid, I had this, it was almost like a,
I just realized how to give you audio. It was up to me. I apologize.
That's all right. It was almost like a grown-up Fisher-Price toy, and it was sort of flat, and it had all the different planets on it, and it had buttons on the left, and you would click on the button, and then it would light up one of the planets, and it would give you information about that planet. Now, my iPad is that device and so much more. And I think that's so cool that we can do so much with our iPads and explore these different, look at all of this. Utopia Planitia, the Flagra Dorsa, and all of the different parts, including Olympus Rupus, the sort of structure on Mars. And Mars has the longest, deepest canyon in the solar system. We can learn about all the different structures that are there, zoom in on them and see what we have
Mars
named,
is
what we
so
haven't named.
pretty.
It really is. And these photos down here at the bottom that we've taken of Mars at different times. So there's so much information built into this app to be able to kind of understand the different planets, including they did keep Pluto in here, even though, what did we call this now?
It ain't a planet.
It's a microplanet or something?
Well, it's just kind of a blob of dirt floating out there.
That's really rude. I bet Pluto says the same thing about you.
You're not even a blob of dirt. You're just a speck of dust. I guess it's a dwarf planet or a minor planet.
It's a dwarf planet.
Yeah.
Look at Neptune. Neptune's so weird. Anyway, That's Solar Walk. You can get the app for free with ads, or you can pay $4.99. Then you get the app without any in-app purchases or anything like that. And it has the different planets. So you can learn about all the different moons. You can learn about all the different planets in our solar system specifically. And then there are movies about the Earth cycles. So this is definitely a learning app for you. And I wanted to mention the missions. So watch what happens. Let's go with, what's the more recent one? Curiosity Rover. If we tap on this.
Ooh, let's go driving.
We get to see Curiosity.
I love Curiosity.
Curious about Curiosity.
I hope they have the helicopter in there when it lands. That'll be fun.
Oh, that will be fun.
Yeah.
Some different photos that Curiosity is taking.
ride.
Check that out.
Oh, this is so cool.
Curiosity was named by a 6th grader in Lenexa, Kansas.
Yeah, they had a competition, yeah.
Lenexa's right near where I grew up.
Oh, really? You live near Kansas?
Yeah, St. Joseph is right on the Missouri-Kansas line, right next to the Missouri-Kansas line. There's a Kansas City, Kansas, and a Kansas City, Missouri,
right,
as we are well aware.
and only one has a baseball team.
Yeah, so look, you can watch it move around and be curious about Curiosity and all of the other
football team
things that we've sent. Yeah, I translated.
Thank you.
Sports ball.
Sport ball team. Only one has a sport ball team.
So, Leo, I think that takes care of our blast off topic.
Nice.
Really
fun. I feel so tiny next to you. I feel like I'm the podcaster on your shoulder.
You are the Pluto to my Neptune.
I'm a dwarf podcaster. You know what? I didn't realize the reason that they took away the planet thing, I was just reading in Wikipedia, is because it isn't even the largest object out there in the Kuiper Belt.
What is?
Eris is bigger. ERIS. If anything is a planet, Eris should be a planet.
Eris, come on.
Come on, Eris. You're an underachieving little dwarf body.
Maybe it's because they couldn't come up with a mnemonic for Eris. My very good mother just served us 9 pizzas. It would have to be my very good mother just served us 9 egg sandwiches.
Ew.
And no one.
Ew.
Okay, I like egg sandwiches.
Eris is 27% more massive than Pluto.
Wow.
Yeah. So at that point, they had to say, well, if we're not going to give Eris a planet.
I wonder why they gave Pluto. Because Pluto, does Eris have a moon, though?
They didn't even know. It was 1930.
That's fair.
They had a telescope. Guy points it. He says, I see you something up there.
Is that
Must be a planet.
On my lens?
Yeah. Could be. Yeah. So anyway.
I wonder if Eris has a moon.
I don't want to weigh in on this controversy, but let's take a breath. Take a breath. A little break here
we talk about
because there's big news.
Oh my goodness.
So, big story today. We were prepared because John Prosser, who is a pretty prolific and normally pretty accurate, he used to be 77% accurate, Apple rumor guy, said that there would be an event this morning between 6 and 9 a.m. our time. Wrong, Prosser. But we were ready. We thought we'd be doing a special.
We'd be on call
next week.
It's coming next week, September 15th at 10 a.m. Pacific.
So the event was that Apple sent out an invitation today.
Yes.
That was the event. And did you play with the invitation? Because it's pretty cool.
No, so I saw you talking about that.
Yeah.
What is it that you can do with it?
It's augmented reality. So let me go back to, this is it. This is the invitation. Apple event. Join us from Apple Park, September 15th, 2020, 10 a.m. Pacific time. So Mikah and I, what we'll do next week is we'll start earlier on iPad or iOS today. We'll start probably, I'm thinking 8:30 a.m. Pacific, so that by 10 a.m. you and I can watch the Apple event, and then we'll have MacBreak Weekly right after. So this was the cool thing. If you go to the webpage on your iPad or your iPhone and tap that logo, it becomes an augmented reality version of itself. In fact, there it is. It's a little big. I'll squish it down. And it's the logo animated, and it turns into the time of the event. The date of the event, which is 9/15.
And something tells me it is using the AR, the new iPad. What is it called? The dot projector, because of the level of. You can move the iPad around a lot. And
watch. You can even take this And I could hide it under my desk. Wait a minute. I can't do this because you have control.
Oh, you take it. You take it.
Can I take it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Or you do it. You were doing it. Go ahead, you do it. You got control. I'll let you be the. Whoa!
Check that out.
Now what? And you could put it. It does have object occlusion. You could put it underneath. See,
it knew that the ground was down there.
Yeah,
Did you
and it
see
went
that?
down. It jumped down off the table.
And it jumped back.
And now it jumped back on the table. Whoa! And then you could, if you took it and stuck it under the desk, it would actually be occluded by the top of the desk. There you go. See that? So it's pretty smart.
That's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that cool?
It's pretty cool.
So that's something to play with. You need to do it on the iPhone or Android. There's other, though, secret Easter eggs.
Okay.
It's being shared on Twitter that if you look at the metadata, Apple's already set up the YouTube feed for the next week's announcement. And if you look at the metadata, you will see what we expected, which is Apple Watch. We expect the next generation Apple Watch. A next generation iPad Air, we expect, and that kind of confirms it. But you might also see iMacs and MacBooks in
Are we seeing our
the
first
metadata.
Apple Silicon?
So this, I don't know. Can you judge it?
This seems so early for that.
Well, it's not that early. What I suspect is they'll say available end of year.
And they did say they'd come out with one for this
year.
Interesting.
So, but it mentions iMacs as well as MacBook. So I don't know if that's something to pay attention to or not.
Or if it's just, if you are doing a search for those things, Apple wants you to come across this event.
Exactly. So we shouldn't really judge. I did find that interesting. So what we do know, because this is the official release, is 1 week from today, September 15th, and we'll live stream at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time.
We're going to see some AR stuff.
UTC. We'll certainly see some AR stuff because they just showed,
I wonder if that's tags.
Tags. The tags, by the way, was not in the metadata.
Well, maybe they were smart about it.
Maybe they were just teasing us. Maybe they knew that we would be looking.
And so you can always update it later.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, definitely a new iPad Air, which is a yawn for me. Although it is good to have a new lower cost iPad that has some of the features of the iPad Pro. Rumored to have that edge-to-edge display, which is nice. And potentially also USB-C connector instead of Lightning.
That's one of the rumors said that, and I thought that was interesting.
That will be interesting.
Yeah.
Because it could mean that we see more USB-C connections.
Right.
Series 6 with potentially blood oxygen level, which is huge for me. I'm really excited about that. Every time they add some really important sensor to the Apple Watch, and I think that I don't know, it always gets me excited. I am all about the quantified self. And then, yeah, of course, it is in theory, the iPhone event. So we'll learn more about the next iPhone and all the different models that we might have.
It's also a coming out party for Jaws. Greg Joswiak, who is taking Phil Schiller's place as director of marketing. So he tweeted, "See you in 7 days, Apple event," and a kind of cool video of the Steve Jobs Theater with that AR announcement in front of it. And look at the shadow. You even see the shadow. That's pretty cool.
Oh, happy birthday, Pink.
And it's Pink's birthday. I noticed that too. Isn't that funny? You and I both noticed that. So the new Apple Senior Vice President for Marketing, a guy who's highly respected in the Mac community, Greg Joswiak, will be, I presume, speaking.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see him.
Running the event.
Yeah, I would, well, you're going to have Tim come out.
Tim Apple, yeah.
And you're going to have probably then him handed off to Jaws, I would guess. And we'll see. It's always exciting, an Apple event. Oh, one other thing to note, probably not the phones.
No. What you mean is the phones will not be ready, right?
And not be mentioned.
Wait.
The consensus is there'll be an October event to announce the iPhone 12.
So wait, what is this event then? Apple Watch and iPad?
Yeah, and maybe Macs, maybe Apple Silicon.
That would blow my mind to not have a September iPhone event.
It'd be the first time in a long time.
Wow.
But Apple already said on their analyst call last quarter, we're going to be delayed on shipping because of COVID-19. October announced date and the rumor, again, these are rumors now, but we'll be watching with interest. But I don't think, just to dampen down expectations, I don't think this is going to be a iPhone event. I think this is an iPad Apple Watch event.
That's
the one
exciting.
That was supposed to happen today.
That's exciting, the sense that it might not be. Now I'm more looking forward to it.
Really? More than...
Just because it's different. And, whenever you kind of have to be up on this stuff and you expect everything to potentially
you like
be
a
thrown
change.
off. Yeah, that's interesting.
What else?
Up next, I want to talk about this because this is something that developers have kind of asked for a long time. And I don't know why the link is not working there. Developers are going to be able to do, and let me try to find the link here.
I can do it.
Thank you. So subscription codes for offers. Up to this point, developers kind of had one way to give people the ability to try out their app, and that was by offering their app for free in the App Store with an in-app purchase. And so what you would do is you would offer the app, you could download it, but if you wanted to get all of the features, then you would pay for those extra features, and potentially, every month or something like that. But if you wanted to just start with a subscription, which when you look at kind of UI, UX, the more friction that you add to a system, the less likely that someone's going to go through with doing that thing. So downloading the app for free and then making them get an in-app purchase in order to do it kind of automatically drops a certain number of people from ever going in and doing that. Whereas if at the beginning of the download, it's part of that, then you have more of a chance of getting more people to subscribe. So there are different types of subscription services that are going to be offered through this offer code. And a developer can do this. A subscriber can access your subscription for free for a specific duration, so for a month for free, and then a standard renewal price of $4.99 per month. So what would happen is I would get this code from the developer, I'd type it in, I'd be able to download the app, and then it would, let me have that for a month. But at the get-go, at launch, I would say, I'm trying this out for a month, and at the end, then the subscription starts.
Interesting.
Then there's pay-as-you-go. A subscriber pays a discounted price each billing period for a specific duration. So you could pay $1.99 per month for 3 months, and then the price goes to $9.99 per month. And then the last one is pay up front. This is a really interesting one to me. A subscriber pays a one-time price for a specific duration. So you could say, with this offer code, you pay $9.99, and that gives you 6 months of a subscription. And then at the end of the 6 months, it returns to the standard renewal price of $20 per month or something like that, or $20 per year. So they get to try it for 6 months at that reduced rate, and then at that point, it cuts to the actual subscription. So 3 different options for developers to let their customers be able to have subscriptions to offer, or offer code subscriptions. I think that's great.
Yeah. This is the beginning, I think, of we're going to see a lot of changes in the App Store in response to things like the Apple Epic lawsuit, but also EU investigation, and even just developer annoyance. Apple's going to start to respond, and I think these are the carrots Apple's going to offer to developers. Sure, they've been offering a lot of sticks. Now it's time for some carrots.
Yummy. Love a good carrot. My eyes feel great.
As long as it's not potatoes.
Next is one that you included. This is Apple. This is a report from The Information talking about Apple delaying iOS changes that will affect the mobile ad market. So
this is a big one because
huge.
You may remember Facebook complained saying, look, Apple's going to, in iOS 14, starting, I'm suspecting next week, because we just had the public beta 7. I think we're really close to ship. Apple's going to say, hey, this application wants to use your unique Apple identifier. Do you want to let it? Now, there's always been a way to turn that off in settings, but by putting it up front with the app install, it's Facebook's contention, I think a lot of advertisers too, that people are going to say, no, that's just going to be the default. No. And Facebook says that's going to kill the iOS ad market. What's interesting is that they were able to put enough pressure, Facebook and others were able to put enough pressure on Apple that they got them to change that. at the last minute.
Yeah, and Apple is going to delay it for some period of time. It's not clear exactly when Apple is going to delay it, but it is
I'm disappointed,
until
actually.
2021. I am too, because this is essentially Apple giving us another way to protect our privacy. And then the fact that Facebook and advertisers got so bent out of shape made it feel like it was even more important to me. Yeah. And so then to have them delay this was not great. It did feel disappointing. I think the one thing is that Apple is saying, this gives advertisers time to sort of adjust to the new way of things. But I just saw a report not too long ago where some folks were talking that ad tech is so far ahead of the game that this really won't make that much of a difference even when it does happen. And this was more about a sort of it was an on principle kind of disagreement as opposed to an on principle what is the word I'm looking for? Desire to disagree instead of actually being something that they were worried about. So that's interesting.
You're right. Google also announced we're phasing out third-party tracking cookies. Last week on Security Now, Steve Gibbs had talked about a way of fingerprinting you that almost anybody could do, almost uniquely based on your browsing history. And essentially, this is my assumption is, there are other ways to do this now, so you don't need the Apple ID for advertisers to do it. But I honestly, with the publicity Apple's generated since they said they were going to do this in June, I think enough people now are aware of, and we'll certainly show when iOS 14 comes out, we'll show you how to do this in settings. It may not give you that pop-up when you first install the app, but we'll show you how to turn that off in settings if you'd like to. So you can even now do that. It's just to turn off the Apple identifier. And I think that's the only difference is it takes it out of settings and puts it right up front.
Yep. Up next is both Australia and Japan are looking into Apple's App Store. There's a report from Bloomberg talking about Japan's antitrust watchdog looking into Apple's rules for the App Store.
Yeah.
And as the report kind of points to, Japan is a huge epicenter for gaming, particularly in the RPG realm. And then Australia, this is actually a report from the Australian government itself. It is looking into, it says the ACCC, that's the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, will be examining the experiences of Australian consumers, developers, suppliers, and others in a new report scrutinizing mobile app stores. So of all types, but it is actually asking for developers to kind of reach out and give their experiences in these app stores to help it put together this report as it starts to gather this material. So as I think most of us who watch this space said and continue to say, many of these things that Apple's been dealing with individually on their own are not such a huge deal on their own, but when you look at them all together, it starts to sort of it starts to stack up, and it's what is that, death by a thousand cuts sort of experience here, where something that maybe could have been argued as, okay, this was just a misunderstanding between one developer and Apple. It adds fuel to the fire, if I can use that poor metaphor here. And that is definitely something that we're seeing now, where Apple's starting to see boop, 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 all these different companies popping up and saying, we're looking into this, and we're going to see what's going on here. All right, Leo, I think we can take a breath before we talk about feedback.
Oh, we got some feedback. We do indeed. In fact, an update on a question we've been talking about for the last few weeks. That's coming up. Let's start with Samantha. She was the one with the mom whose phone was acting strangely.
Yeah, so Samantha's mom had an iPhone that anytime she lives out in the country, and so her power goes out relatively frequently, which is kind of concerning, but it does. And when it does, of course, the Wi-Fi goes down.
Right.
And when the Wi-Fi goes down, for some reason, the phone no longer sends her notifications on, or it doesn't make the sound for notifications on her devices.
Right.
So we were kind of trying to get to the bottom of that, but I said I needed more information. Samantha has written in to say, "Good evening, Mikah and Leo. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to check out my mom's iPhone settings. However, a friend suggested we turn off the Bluetooth when her power goes out." And of course, Laura knocked it out for a few hours.
Right.
Amazingly and strangely, this worked. The only thing
I know what's going on then.
Yeah, she says the only thing she has that she connects to using Bluetooth are the vehicles. I have no idea why this worked since nothing else in her house has Bluetooth that would work without power, but it did. I'm not sure if this will help anyone else having this issue, but I thought I'd pass it on.
So here's the deal. When the power is on, she's paired to something in the house, Bluetooth device in the house, a speaker or whatever. Power goes off, that goes down. The iPhone says, what else we got here? And apparently the car Bluetooth is strong enough to reach wherever the iPhone is. Maybe you're just on the other side of the wall from the garage. And so I'm going to bet the next time that happens, if you go out and sit in the car, you're going to get a bing, 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 bing in the car. That's the speaker that's going to.
Yep.
That's right? Do you think that's
what I think it is.
Yeah.
That's got to be what it is.
Yeah. It makes sense now. So power goes out, kills whatever she's paired to. And Apple, what the iPhone will do, this just happened to me the other day. Actually, yesterday, we're listening to a book on a speaker, a Bluetooth speaker, and the iPhone, for some reason, just keeps switching over to my Bluetooth headset. And so I'm listening to the book. Lisa and I are listening on a speaker, so we're listening together. The book stops. I go, I know what happened. And I look, and it's coming out of my headphones. So I set it back, did it again, set it back, did it again. So finally, the only solution was to turn off the powered headphones.
Yep.
And then it stayed with the speaker. So the iPhone is a little promiscuous when it comes to Bluetooth pairing.
Sometimes I'll even go as far as having to tap forget device and just redo the pairing later, which is annoying. But yeah, Bluetooth can be kind of picky, or like you said, promiscuous. James from Somerset wrote in, I thought this was interesting as a potential solution, but potentially we've come up with that one. I was listening to your show and heard the story of the lady who doesn't hear notifications when not on Wi-Fi. Don't know if this is at all related, but it's been bugging me for a while, and I thought I would share it with you. Both me and my someone, James didn't write in what goes there, both me and my someone have the same issue.
Okay.
We both have, it just says both me and my have the same issue. We both have iPhones and Apple Watch Series 5s. They are all running the latest iOS update, no betas. We regularly miss notifications of emails and messages because it doesn't make a notification sound. All our sounds are turned on and turned up. I have literally sat and had an iMessage come through which made a sound, replied, then locked my phone and put it on my chest to wait for the reply. The reply came through but didn't make any sound. This happens all the time. We think, and this is another potential issue, but Samantha didn't write about an Apple Watch, but this is another case if someone else is having this. We think it's because sometimes the notification goes to our watches, and it thinks we've seen them because their arm might be raised, or it might be in a way where they can see it on their wrist. And of course, that is super annoying.
Could be that too.
Yeah. So if you've got an Apple Watch, it could be sending to that. But yeah, I think the fact that the Bluetooth turning off thing led to it coming outside, that's definitely got to be the issue that's going on here.
Really weird. Yeah.
Up next, Adam. And this is a question I get relatively frequently, so I'm addressing it here. Again, just would like to know what software and or devices you use to demonstrate apps on iOS today. And this was to me. I am creating iPad how-to videos for our company and love the presentation you give on screen that not only shows the screen, but the device as well. Thank you very much for the help. Keep it up, etc. Adam works for Lazy Boy. So if Lazy Boy would like to know kind of what we're doing here, when I'm at home, so this is a little bit different, we use AirPlay via Apple TV while we're here because it will AirPlay just the screen and switch to that. But while I'm at home, I use an app called Ecamm Live. Ecamm Live lets you plug in your devices via USB and then will make those inputs as cameras essentially in the setup, and Ecamm has different settings for picture-in-picture and things like that, so I can pull up the iPad or the iPhone, and then it lets you do overlays, so I have an overlay of an iPhone screen and an iPad screen that I put over the top of that, so it can be a little finicky as you try to get it set up, but that's what I use, and it also works with, I recently found out, if you plug in an Apple TV via USB, you can also go to it as well, so everything but the Apple Watch can be an input as a camera on Ecamm Live. So Adam, hope that helps, and to other people who ask that question relatively frequently, it's Ecamm Live I use. And then and I wanted to mention, too, I've included a link, and we'll include it in the show notes, that Quicktime, if you've got a Mac, Quicktime, if you plug in your iPad or iPhone via USB, you can launch Quicktime, choose File, New Movie Recording, and then next to the button that's for Start Recording, there's a little arrow. It points down. If you click on that arrow that points down, you'll see your iPhone as one of the options listed. You click on that, and then you can record your iPhone screen that way, too. Last question. This comes from Hans. From the start, I have had issues with my iPhone 11 Max. For some reason, the system sounds, which now appear to include my alarm, is impacted by other volume settings. For example, the lock sound gets muted over time, probably due to volume settings in games or words with friends. It also seems to be impacted by Sleep Timer and Sonos, as Sonos reduces the volume before stopping. I've tried various settings and disconnected and connected the volume with the side buttons, but so far, no change. Any tips? Hans, I've got good news for you. I'm going to AirPlay my iPhone to the living room Apple TV. And I can show you here. If we launch settings, we scroll down, or we actually don't have to scroll down. You just tap on sounds and haptics, and then under ringer and alerts, you will see the option that says change with buttons. You want to keep that turned off. If you have it turned on, then both the volume of the different things on your iPhone and the alerts will be changed with the buttons on the side of your iPhone. If you have it turned off, then they will not be affected. And instead, you can use this slider here to turn up or down the alerts on your iPhone. So you probably want that turned all the way up, leave it turned all the way up, and then make sure change with buttons is turned off. And that should fix the problem for you, Hans.
Nice.
All righty, Leo.
Nice. Well done.
That's feedback and questions.
Wait a minute. If feedback's done and questions are done,
yes,
it might be time for
App Caps.
Now, we have matching app caps today.
We do. I'm so excited.
Because I took the time to go on Amazon and you're the mustard to my ketchup bottle.
Hey, what's up?
Hey,
what's going on? How you doing? Oh, how you doing?
I'll do that again. That was cute.
You need some mustard? I need some ketchup.
I asked what you wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And I thought I brought the ketchup in. I thought for sure, because you're sweet, you would want ketchup, and I'm a little hot and spicy, I would want mustard. But no, you chose the hot and spicy.
There's not enough mustard in the world to satisfy me, Leo. I really like mustard.
All right. Well, I didn't think we'd get to wear these because I didn't think I'd see you for some time. Right. So I'm very pleased that the internet outage, thank you, Comcast, has brought us together as internet outages do.
Right now.
What is your app cap?
So for folks who are at home, I've noticed this trend. A lot of people are getting plants, and they're getting a lot of houseplants, and some people now live in a jungle of houseplants at their home. If they don't end up bleaching their hair blonde, then they buy like 20 houseplants. It seems to be one or the other. So folks who need to know how to take care of their houseplants properly, I'm thinking of you, Megan Maroney.
Really?
She regularly overwaters her plants. She talks about it on Twitter a lot.
Yeah.
I can be I'm not a textbook overwaterer, but I'm a little bit nearing that. I can tend to be a little bit too nanny about my plants. So how do I solve this? Well, there's an app for that. It's called Jungled Delightful Plant Care, and it is available for free in the App Store. And then it does have in-app purchase, but it's for a tip if you want to leave a tip. This is great because it pulls information about specific plants and uses that to inform you on what you need to do. So, for example, if we want to switch to the Apple TV for me, you can see I've got a plant here called Hercules Mulligan. This is my spider plant.
He's a tailor. Oh no, he's a spider plant.
I took a photo of him, and he used to be very small, and he's just grown. And the idea is that Hercules Mulligan was a secret, was a spy and gave secrets, and so he's sort of spread out and found out all these things, and that's what this plant has done over time. He's just grown and spread. So that's why I named him Hercules Mulligan. you can put in a photo up here at the top, but then you also have information. So I can see general information, including the name and where I have.
I'm so surprised you didn't name it Spider Plant. Spider Plant.
And then you can, say where it is. You put your information here. What's cool is I can send an email.
I so need this.
To Sebastian, and he could get the app and then also have this plant in his app as well.
Yeah.
Now, so that's the general stuff, but let's talk about care requirements.
Yes, because I need to remember when to water.
So you get watering reminders that you can set up.
I'm doing this. This is good.
And then it talks about the environment. So what the soil moisture should be, what the humidity should be, what the sunlight should be for a spider plant. And then last is about spider plant. And so you can learn about the spider plant itself, what you need to do.
Is there really that much to learn?
No, not about a spider plant. And then you can, Jungled doesn't have these currently, but eventually Jungled is going to sell.
I want the sensors, yes.
Soil sensors so that you can actually sort of monitor your plants through this.
And that's, by the way, why Megan keeps killing her plants. I have her sensor right here.
Oh, no, you have a soil sensor?
I do. She gave to me. I didn't steal it from her, but I'm thinking now she probably should have kept it.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll tap in the top right here to add a plant. And look, it gives you some suggestions like Elvis Presley, Baby Yoda, Jimmy Pesto, which is funny. Let's go with Jimmy Pesto and tap continue. I can skip a photo for now. And then Jimmy Pesto is obviously a basil plant. And so it gives you the thing. It says, okay, days between watering, it should be 6 days. You create your care plan.
See, that's why I would kill it. 6 days?
Yeah, you're supposed to go 6 days before you water it again. And then look, you've got all the information here, what the sunlight should be, et cetera. But then also, let me go back. Oh, no, not that. What I want is about basil. And it tells you just a little information about what basil is and what you need to know about caring for basil. So then you go and you add in, if I can tap the back button, all of your different plants, and it creates a calendar for you. So you can see today, what are the plants that I need to water? And you can say, I don't have any plants I need to water today. And then you can also discover information about other plants so that, maybe I want to eventually add a dwarf umbrella tree to my home. And so you can learn about the dwarf umbrella to see if that's what you want to put in your house.
Oh, I'm downloading this right now. This is exactly what I need.
And then, you set up, like I said, your notifications here. You can check for, this is important. So country, I need to put, that I'm in the United States because that helps to inform the requirements for humidity and things like that. So I will scroll down until I get to the United States.
Jungled.
And
I want a jungle.
Measurements, imperial, because we're fools here. And so then there's Jungled Plus, which has this is a feature that's going to be coming soon that will allow you to use your own sensors. So if you have, like an Arduino, Raspberry Pi that does that, then you'll be able to use those as well. And then they're also partnering with some different plant providers.
See, that's what I really want.
So that you can get discounts for that.
Yeah, Lisa's been saying we got to get some plants.
And Leo, one of the things that I like here, and it's important for you, you've got cats. They are going to, in Jungled Plus, you'll be able to fill out sort of the survey. And so it'll ask you if you have pets, and then it will provide you with suggestions for plants you should have based on your own home and your own environment. So these are the best plants for your house. These are not the best plants for your house, etc. That is Jungled, and like I said, it is available in the App Store for free right now. You can get in-app purchases. You can pay in-app purchases for tips. Leo, why don't you tell me about your app? So
this is an app. For a long time, when people say, for instance, I want to send secure email, or what's your PGP key, and I do distribute that. I often will say, you can do this, but email was never designed to be secure. You should really use an end-to-end encrypted secure messaging program. By the way, MySudo would be a great choice, our sponsor. But for the long time, the open source free one that everybody recommended was Signal. And I did too. But Steve Gibson, who was always a little contrarian, always said, oh, Leo, really, you should look at Threema. Threema, Threema, Threema. And I said, well, I would, Steve, but it's not open source. they've slowly moved in that direction. And finally, this week, Threema announced it is now an open source email or a encrypted message platform, Threema. And the reason I like Threema better than Signal is it's not attached to your phone number. So the one problem I've always had with Signal is you needed a phone number and it would attach itself to your phone. And that isn't the ideal way to do it, in my opinion. Threema does it a little bit differently. You create a Threema account and you get a fingerprint. This is using a strong encryption, and now that it's open source, you can verify that it's doing exactly what it says it's doing using traditional open source stuff. But here's what's cool about Threema. If you look at your contacts, when you first add a contact, just by them sending you a message or whatever, it'll get 1 dot. There are 3 possible. Threema, get it? 3 dots. Chris Marquardt, who I've known for some time, he's got 2 dots. That's his verification level. That's someone whose phone number or email is in my address book. So that's a pretty good sign it's the same guy. Although you don't have to link your, and this is the other reason I prefer it to Signal now, you don't need to link your contact list at all, in which case you'll never get 2 dots. Everybody will be a 1 dot, an unknown contact who either isn't sharing his contact list, and as you know, I don't recommend that, or is not in my contact list. But here's the cool one. The 3 dots. And this is what you and I should do, Mikah. It's somebody you run into in real life or in somehow, perhaps through the Zoom call, you've exchanged the QR code. So let me go back to my profile. You can see my Threema ID here, but you can also scan my Threema QR code. Now, the reason this works, if you're, for instance, watching right now and you've got Threema and you scan my code, you know it's me, Leo, doing the show. It's not an imposter, and that I'm demonstrating this QR code. In fact, let me do this so that you know. See, it's really me, the guy in the ketchup hat. That's really takes some of the credibility out of this, doesn't it? But you get the idea but because we did this in person, you know this is me, and that will give me 3 dots. So you can look at anybody in your contact list and know how verified that account is. So anybody, for instance, who adds me now using that QR code, I'll be a 3-dot person to you. I've done this before on Security Now. I showed my QR code, so you see I already have a bunch of people in my contact list. I think this is a really great way to verify, and this is why Steve's always like this, that the person you're sending it to is the actual person you think it is. And of course, if they change keys, that verification will no longer be good. They'll no longer get 3 dots. So if you want truly secure communications, you go to the 3-dot, folks. Threema is a basic messenger. It doesn't have a lot of additional features, although you can do Threema calls. You can only put it on one device, much like Signal. That key is stored in the secure enclave. But you can put it on desktop using Threema Web. And that is a really nice feature. You can go to the Threema website on your desktop or even your iPad and then scan the QR code into here, and it will automatically pair up, and you'll have a list of people that the same list of people that you already approved. You can create groups. It has groups. It has voice and video calling. And now that it's open source, I want to give them a real thumbs up. Threema is really a great choice. It's an even more private choice than the Signal Messenger because you don't have to give them your phone number, your contact list, anything like that. So you can use it truly anonymously.
So I could link my pseudo if I wanted to.
You could, but you don't need to give them a phone number. That's the point. So my pseudo has a kind of a different use case. You're not going to use Threema to give out, your Threema address to leads and so forth,
right,
to sales calls. That's a completely different use. This is specifically for truly secure end-to-end messaging. Again, email just isn't really secure, was never designed to be secure. If you want to send me a message, for instance, say you have a leak that you wanted to share with me, actually I don't care, but let's say that. So there's a lot of reporters, a lot of journalists like to get those kinds of leaks.
Pull up your ID again.
Oh, you want to scan it in?
Yeah, I'm going to scan you.
All right,
in fact, I'm going to turn around.
Anybody who wants to see my ID can just. Oh, I need to put it there. Hold on.
Oh, wait,
hold
I can
on.
do it there.
Let's see if we can get it into this one. See if you can scan that now.
Oh, It worked.
It worked. He scanned it.
You're 3 dots now.
Now I'm a 3 dot. And so...
Does that mean I'm a 3 dot too?
Let me see. As soon as you get added here, send me a message.
Okay.
I guess not. No, you're not a 3 dot. And that's important because I haven't verified your identity.
So I need to pull up mine.
So let
me see if
I just got your message. So now I see Mikah's in my... Yeah. So now I have to do the same thing to you. Oh boy, how do I do that? Wait a minute. I got to put you on... okay, you're on a screen. Let's see. Okay, how do I add somebody? I don't even know.
I tapped on your contact.
Oh, the plus. Here we go. Yeah. Scan an ID. So here we go. Let's see if... Oh, it did. It added you.
Nice.
And now I have Micah's Threema.
I feel so special.
And that, by the way, that did that all automatically. So it took everything that you know, and you see you're a 3 dot. So now you're actually my only 3 dot. So that's nice. But the idea is you might go around... And by the way, you didn't have to use your real name for that. You know, you could have used my buddy, and I would have known it's you because I so that's the key. Is it's very privacy centric, very privacy focused, and I think I really like that. And totally secure. I just was always nervous. I don't believe in using any crypto product, for really secure stuff unless you can see the source code. You know it's open source. Threema did kind of, for a while it wasn't open source at all. Then they did a kind of halfway thing where they would just release the source code for their encryption, and you could verify it by sending yourself a message. It was a complicated process. Now they've announced we're open source. You can go through all the software, so you know there's no secrets hidden in that binary. So for if you're a
there's even that you can set it so that you can create a password that lets you revoke your ID from remote.
Yes, very important to be revocable.
I've been hacked.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
So just wanted to pass that along because for a long time Steve Gibson said this is the really great. He loves that 3 dot technique. This is a German company, and I was always a little skeptical because it was hard to verify. It's gotten better, but now that it's open source, absolutely a good choice. So, if you're worried about the NSA getting your text messages to your family,
I am always worried about that.
Hey, that concludes this thrilling and gripping edition of the Hot Dog Brothers.
The Hot Dog Brothers.
He's mustard.
I need to write a theme song. He's ketchup.
And together, we're the Hot Dog Brothers.
Oh, my word. Oh, if folks have questions that they want to send in to the Hot Dog Brothers, you just send those to iOStoday@twit.tv. We appreciate your text. You can send in audio or video. Add us on Threema if you want to send it to us there. Try to keep that under 30 seconds as that's the best way to have it shown online and without us having to edit anything down. But we do appreciate that.
If you like the show and you want to watch it live, because there's stuff before and after, sometimes a lot of stuff before and after, you can,
today.
You can tune in twit.tv/live. In theory, our on-time start is 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. That would be 1600 UTC. Come on by and watch it, twit.tv/live, or listen live. On-demand versions of the show available at the website, twit.tv/iOS, or on YouTube, or in your favorite podcast application. In fact, that's my favorite way of doing it. Find an application you like: Outcast, Overcast, Shoutcast, Slacker, Slinker, Stinker, whatever they are. And subscribe. That way you'll get it the minute it's available of a Tuesday afternoon. I'm Leo Laporte.
I'm Mikah Sargent.
We'll see you next time on iOS Today.
Brothers.
Bye. The
Hot Dog Brothers.
Hot Dog Brothers.
I messed that up.
The Hot Dog Brothers.
I'm Jason Howell, host of Tech News Weekly here on twit.tv, along with my co-host Mikah Sargent. Each and every week, we talk to people who are making and breaking the tech news. It could be journalists writing amazing tech stories. It could be experts. It could be the sources of the stories themselves, developers, you name it. We bring them onto the show and we talk to them about why their story is resonating with the world. You can watch and subscribe by going to twit.tv/TNW. Make sure you do that and you won't miss a single episode. We'll see you there.